Hello. So this is going to be our first attempt at making a longer YouTube video about Daisy Cottage. So I've got a new bit of technology. Well, it's not new, but I haven't used it for ages. So I've got myself a Osmo 3 gimbal. So hopefully this should track my face as I walk and smooth out the video as well. So today we're at the cottage. We arrived yesterday and the plan is to clear up this land that is behind me. Now you can see I've already started. So I started yesterday. Got a digger from my friend John, and I'm going to turn the camera around and so that you can see what we've been up to, what we got done yesterday, and then hopefully yeah, we'll go from there. So you can see we've got a very nice, slightly old, maybe mid-80s Caterpillar 205 LC. Now yes, probably not the most modern digger in the world, but more than adequate for what we wanted to do, which is to start digging out some of the tree stumps. Now, underneath the digger, there was actually quite a big stump, so I'm going to try and walk around there. And you can see we've started to make some headway into this pile. There's quite a big stump there that I'm hopefully going to get rid of, and one or two more here. And you know, regardless of the power of the digger, there still has to be a level of finesse, otherwise, you know, we start to like rip up. If there are roots going under the road, for an example, yeah, you can see that bigger stump there. And what we're going to hopefully get through today is some of these smaller stumps. So here, there's another one just to the side of the red, and hopefully that one there. We're going to try to get rid of those and that bit of embankment as well. And then you can see that although the land is like, it's a bit churned up, I've tried to avoid, and I don't know if what the real term for it is, but my term is over tracking. So when I say that, and when I say over tracking, I mean like rolling back into too many times on the digger, because it'll start to, as you start to go over it more and more, especially a little bit of water, it will start digging itself in further and further. And what we don't want to do is make things worse while we're trying to make them better. So like I said, yesterday I started, didn't think about doing a recording yesterday, but that was yesterday's haul that we dug out. Some of those were already had been like pulled, but were just all in a pile under soil. And that giant one there was the one that I got out yesterday. That's in the hole. It's kind of under the digger, but I used some of the extra soil that we had to fill that back in. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these stumps up onto the bank. So there's a bank running all the way round. So we're going to put these stumps up onto the bankment and just essentially let nature take its course and just rot them away. They're not going to do any harm, just with undergrowth growing over them. You know, it's rather than spend money trying to get rid of them and dumping them, we're just going to let nature take its course, build up the embankment, maybe drop a bit of soil on top of them, and just kind of, yeah, make them become part of the landscape. So that's today's little job. So quite a bit to do. I've got a smaller digger coming for the weekend as well, where I should be able to tidy up some of the I'm going to say mess, but it's just got to be the way it's got to be for the time being. There's a lot of roots, there's a lot of stumps that need moving about, you know. And in that bottom corner over there, it's still quite wet. So I'm going to try to scrape some of that away whilst not going on it actually with the digger. Because if we do that, what we end up doing is we end up basically turning it more and more into slop and less into solid ground, which is what we're going to try to do. Because what we're going to try to do is, once we've pulled the stumps and we've got this embankment out down here, so there's a little embankment down there, we're going to try to pull all the junk out of there, all the roots out of there, perhaps get some additional stone in, and then we'll start to fence it. And this up here, so from probably where the digger is up to the end, I'm hoping to make a nice lawn and put a nice laurel hedge in there as well. Put some gates in so it's accessible. And yeah, hopefully turn it into a lovely, like, garden rather than it be a yard like we've got already. You know, this is all stoned off lovely, but it's not that, you know, I don't want to end up looking like a giant car park. So what I want to do is end up with it with a nice, like, somewhere nice in the country, some nice hedges, bit of grass down, and yeah, and just be able to enjoy the Irish countryside. So that's it for today. Well, this instalment definitely. Let's hope that I can stitch these two videos together today, and we can start making slightly better videos, you know, and I can show you perhaps some of the crap with me in action. As John said, you're taking it nice and steady on that digger. What he meant was you're really slow on that digger, but he was trying to be generous with his comments. So there's a little video of our Caterpillar 205. Some of the work we've done, and this is today's implement. So we've got a nice, probably 2.5, 3 foot wide toothed bucket. Ideally, we've got to work with the tools we've got. Ideally, the small, when it comes to getting tree stumps out, the narrower the bucket, the better. So if we had a bucket that was a foot wide, it would probably be a little bit more efficient because you would dig less of a hole around the bottom of the stump. But we've got what we've got. I've been very generously loaned this digger, you know, something that it would have cost me a hell of a lot of money if I tried to get something this big hired, because it'd be kind of a brand new thing. And also, yeah, you know, she's old but gold.